What's happening, guys? My name is Farbar Blue, and today, as you can hear, my voice is finally back to normal and I am no longer sick, which means I can finally start recording again. And the first thing I wanted to record was a video kind of explaining the basics of Ark Survival Evolved, or Ark Sotf, which is the Battle Royale game that I had mentioned in my New Year's post. That was finally updated after so many years of just being dead. It is finally back up and running and people are still playing it. So I wanted to kind of make an overview video of basically to help those of you who either don't know how the game works, don't know what's changed, or have never seen it but have started watching people who are playing it and don't understand what people are doing. So basically this video is just a general overview of the mechanics, gameplay, as well as just some general information that people want to know. And yeah, so let's just get straight into it. The first thing I want to explain is kind of this giant server list. There's a whole lot of information here, but really the only thing you really need to focus on is the different game modes that are listed in the name. So far there are two different server locations, NA and EU, pretty self-explanatory, and there are three different game modes, solos, duos, and tribes of four, which is basically squads. So, I mean, also self-explanatory, so I'm not going to get into those. But the thing you do want to focus on are these numbers that go from 1 to 10 on each of the different servers lists. These numbers correlate with the match server or whatever, so there's 10 of each of these. So EU Duo has 10, EU Solo has 10, EU Tribes of 4 has 10, as well as the NA correlation has the same thing. Let's give an example. If you are trying to join, say, a duo, this Duo 01 here, if you are trying to join this with a friend of yours, you have to make sure you are joining the same server. If you join, say, NA01 and they join NA05, you won't be in the same server and you will not be able to find each other to duo up. So just be mindful of the server you both are joining and not to join the wrong one. But that's basically all you really need to know here, so let's get into the actual gameplay of the game. Okay, when you get into a match first, the first thing you will see, the first screen that will come up is this character creation. If you ever played Ark, it's generally the same. You got different sliders that affect different things, as well as the female and male different bodies and whatnot. This is all pretty much the same as always, so it's not going to be anything interesting. But just remember, if you've spent, say, like a whole bunch of time making your perfect character that you want to personally use every time, make sure you save it as a preset so you can instantly load it back in using the load a preset button, so you're not having to constantly go through and change everything every single time you want to hop into a match. The other two buttons here are basically reset all of these to default and the randomize button. Those are pretty self-explanatory. The only thing of note that you really want to look out for on this screen is the character name. It will always, whenever you join a new like match or server, it will always reset to the basic human stand-in, I guess I could call it, substitute name. So make sure you're constantly resetting that to the name that you want before you hit the create survivor button. Alright, now that we've gotten that character creation screen done, let's head into the actual lobby. So, once you've joined a match fully and done character creation, this is the lobby you'll be put in. It's basically the giant force field in the sky with different statues, and this is where everyone kind of loads in before the match starts. And a few things of note here are the like tribe creation as well as the further character customization. So when you're in this kind of lobby bubble, if you hold F, it'll bring up this kind of scroll wheel sort of thing, and the paintbrush will allow you to paint your body as well as put anything you want on it. And the the scissors will allow you to cut your hair and give you a whole bunch of really random hairdos or whatever. So that at least gives you something to do while you're sitting up here waiting. The next thing you want to make sure is the tribe name. If you leave it blank, it'll just default to the tribe of your name or whatever that you put in. So make sure if you have a tribe name that you want, you put it in before the game starts. As well as the tribe flag. Basically, same as the character customization. You have all these paints here, you have a basic flag, and if you spend a whole bunch of time making a cool flag and whatnot, make sure you save a preset up at this button, because if you don't, you'll have to redo that entire thing over again later on. And loading a preset is pretty simple. I just did it. You just hit the load a preset button, click on the flag that you've saved, click it again, the load preset button, and it'll take a bit of time to load up, but eventually it'll get into the flag that you want. It just takes forever, so give me a second. Oh, okay, never mind. Okay, so the match just started as I'm still loading this, so it'll still load while we're like the match has started, but it just takes a second. But just wait until it kind of disappears. It'll take a bit of time, but it will. So while we're in this screen, let me kind of explain. There we go. So I'm gonna compare it to Fortnite for a second, but basically this Quetzal and the thing on its back is the battle bus of SOTF. It's where everyone starts out the match, and it's kind of where you can fly over the map and see what's going on. Now, hitting M will bring up a map while you're in here. This is where you can see a few things of note. You see this safe zone, which is basically where the zone will kind of close around for the first ring. And then you see these different icons showing the different bosses that are in Ark. These bosses are tameable, so most people will land at those to get them straight off the bat, or at least as fast as possible. Hitting space will allow you to dive, and you'll kind of get this little glider guy. I cannot... Sinocrops. Sinocrops? Yeah. You don't actually get to use him, he just kind of gives you a ride. Now, if you look, you have all these different supply drops that are around. This is how you get the resources, weapons, armor, everything that you will need in the match itself. So make sure that if you're playing, you get one of these drops almost immediately. They're going to be very competitive, so if you get one that's near where a boss is, most people are going to be going for it. And then basically holding R is the key concept of this whole thing. That's basically how you do a whole bunch of the different interactions with stuff. So collecting the different supply drops as well as taming creatures is, you basically just need to hold R. While I wait for this to get down so I can show you some stuff, let me explain how you tame creatures, which is kind of the main focus of SOTF. So if you look underneath the map on the right hand side of the screen, you'll see this kind of T-Rex icon with a number 30 next to it. That is your dinosaur tokens. You need those to tame different creatures. You start out with 30, everyone starts with 30, and different dinosaurs cost different amounts to tame them. So let's give an example. Whoa, okay. This is a good example actually. So when you kill a creature, they each have their own point value associated with them, and when you kill a creature, you will get that point value. As you look at the side of my screen, I had 30, I now have 34, and if I were to kill this Phiomia, I would get 12. Stupid bug. But if you look next to it, that 15, that's how many tokens it takes to tame the creature. And like I said, each dinosaur has its own point value. So different dinosaurs will have different costs as well as different point values that they will give you. So basically, if you plan to tame a lot of creatures, make sure you're also killing a whole lot of them, because you will run out of points quickly if you're only taming and not killing. You want to generally have a good amount, because tokens are a big part of the game. They allow you to not only heal your dinosaurs, but also level them up and tame them. And do I'm going to use these Terrorverse as an example. Basically, I just killed them. They are now sitting on the ground as you would have if you knocked them out in normal Ark. And this gives you the chance to tame them by holding R. It'll take the currency of tokens that they need out of your inventory, and you immediately have this to ride on. It works out pretty well, at least in my opinion. It's a good concept. I really enjoy it. Sorry if I'm not explaining things very well. I'm playing this as well as talking, so it's kind of confusing if you don't know what's happening. What's another thing to explain? Oh, the bosses I mentioned while I was in the air. Those bosses, people would go to. Can you? People would go to those bosses almost immediately when starting the match. It's the thing people would go for first. But the thing to keep in mind is you need 400 tokens to tame each of the bosses. So, or I guess tribe. So basically you can only tame one boss per match. But like I said, you need 400 tokens, which means you need to be killing a whole lot of at least the big creatures, because as you can see, this one, Triceratops, will give you 30 tokens, but to tame them, they take 39. And that's like I said, each one has their own point value, so killing them is always a good idea, at least early game, to get a good stockpile of tokens. I mean, that's pretty much it. It's just, I mean, other than that, it's just a basic battle royale of just people fighting people, PvP. Oh, in this game, if you've noticed, holding F, which is a very weird thing to have, but holding F will bring up your inventory. This is the inventory. Each of these, if you look, the 1 and the 2 has different weapons, has different selections that you can do. And these are the different weapons. I don't have them all unlocked. The way you get more is by opening the supply drops. They will give you different weapons, different resources, different everything, as well as armor. So you want to be at least periodically getting as many of the supply drops as you can. They are going to be very important. Also, if you probably just saw on the screen a little bit ago, but the dragon was just tamed. Which means sorry, I got distracted. Which means that someone currently has the dragon and is riding it around as if you would any other. Yep, I figured. I'm fighting a person now, so I'm not focused at all on what's happening. Oh, shotgun. Alright. Well, I mean, that was a very basic overview of what just happened. It wasn't very detailed because I was also playing while happening, but that is kind of a basic match of what SOTF is, and people have already been putting together a whole bunch of different strategies as well as different things that have been going on. Here, I'll show you that dragon for a second. Oh, quick overview about what levels and tiers are. So, there are currently in the game 4 different tiers of dinosaurs. They're basically the leveling system that is in SOTF. If you look here, this dragon has is a tier 3 dinosaur. Every dinosaur, when you tame them, they start out at tier 0, or I guess tier 1 if you want to call it, but it's normally called tier 0 or untiered. And that's basically just kind of the basic level. Here, look, these guys down here, these each are tier 0. They don't have the kind of flag icon thingy that's shown up over here. And if you were to get enough XP by killing these like Sarcos and stuff that are downed, if they were to kill these, they would get XP, which would then allow them to level up and get to a tier 1, and then a tier 2, and then a tier 3. If you saw before, my Terror Bird actually became a tier 1. The issue is, oh here, look, this Baryonyx here, that is a tier 2 Baryonyx. Or wait, no, that's not a Baryonyx. No, it is a Baryonyx. I thought it was a Callie for a second. Or a Shally. But the different like icons that are showing up there, those are the correlations of what tier those dinosaurs are. Oh, well. So you want to be careful about fighting. Say you have an army of tier 1 dinosaurs and you are going up against an army of tier 2 dinosaurs. You will most likely be absolutely obliterated because tier 2s have higher stats, higher damage, higher health, which allows them better survival ability against other dinosaurs that are tamed. So it's just something you want to be aware is the different tiers mean different stats, as well as the further away, like, so this little icon flag that you can see through this tree that shows what tier they have different distances of which they can be seen through the map. So the bosses, so the Methopithecus, the Broodmother, which is apparently dead now, and this dragon. Oh wait, no, this is the Methopithecus. This is the Broodmother right here. He's trying to tame it, but you can't tame 2 creatures of boss tier. So the dragon, the Broodmother, and the Methopithecus, each of them start out at tier 3, and their tier tokens, I guess you could call them, show all over the map. If the Methopithecus was tamed and I looked over in its direction, you would be able to see that tier 3 token from across the map, no matter what distance you were from it. Anything else that isn't a boss tier creature will not be able to see it, but you can still see it from far away. So using that Baryonyx as a reference from earlier, he's currently standing over here, but if I get closer, that tier 3 or tier 2 Baryonyx should start. There it is, see? And that distance of which that tier 2 token shows up is different than if it was a tier 1 or a tier 3. If I was further away and it was a tier 3, it would show up. It would still be showing up now if it was a tier 3. But since it's a tier, and if it was a tier 1, it wouldn't show up until like here. Basically, so if you see a tier 3 coming up over the horizon, then it's getting close. And it's just kind of like a quick warning system of like, this is dangerous, it's coming up to you, be careful. I don't see any other tier. Hold on, we got this guy over here. Does he have any tiered creatures that have anything? Where is he? Oh, no, he's just by himself. Okay, this guy doesn't have any tiers, so his like icon doesn't show up to the other players because his dinosaur isn't tiered. Does this guy over here have a tiered dinosaur? Actually, no, he doesn't have a dinosaur. He's just by himself. Alright. But that's basically a general overview. See, you can still see the dragon from all the way over here. And then it looks like we're going to have a battle over here. Alright. And then what else? I feel like there's something I'm forgetting that I need to explain. I mean, you can generally see what's happening here. This is a dinosaur death from a different player. That's a death of a player. This is a death of a dinosaur. That's a death of a dinosaur. You'll even be able to see the looted these things. So the supply drops, if they are looted by you on the map, they will show up as green for like a set amount of time. if they are looted by someone else, they will show up as yellow in that spot for a set amount of time. In the early games, you can really see it. It's very prevalent that it's happening because there's constantly over the map is just everything getting looted. And I mean, that's generally it. Yeah, I mean, the game has been out for what, 3 weeks or so now, and people have already been coming up with strategies and different things for like tribe members, for the tiers of 3, tiers of 2, whatever. Oh, look, we're about to have a battle. Okay, well, first off, Sarkos are really bad in this game because they're really squishy. Like, look, he's already dead. And he's dead. Alright. But yeah, I mean, it's generally just regular Ark, but with, like, some other mechanics thrown into it. So, I know this is a very messy explanation of everything, and it doesn't probably help that I'm also in the middle of the match playing instead of just like recording over myself playing. Oh, we just got a death down here. But yeah, basically that's it. Pretty simple stuff. I'd say the best way you can learn, if you feel like learning more, is just to play a few matches, figure it out for yourself. Like I said, this is just a basic overview. I definitely did not go into the in-depth stuff and strategies of everything. Oh, here's a Quetzal. Oh, here's the thing. Flyers, not tameable. You cannot tame flyers. So, Quetzals, Pteranodons, there's a big list of the non-tameable things. Let's see if I can find a duck. Or not. Alright, well, ducks aren't tameable either. So, Hesperornis, those were taken out of the tameable list. What else? Oh, Dimorphodons were taken off. A whole bunch of stuff. Oh, hey, look, we got it. Oh, here's another thing. The spawn location for dinosaurs, it's been slightly changed. Can I take this off so it's not so... There we are. Alright. Oh, there's the broodmother been tamed. Let's see if you can... So there's the dragon. You can see it over there. The broodmother is in that same general location, so I can't really see it because of that thing. But you would technically be able to see it through the map no matter what. But basically back to the whole spawn location. The spawn locations haven't really changed, but the spawn rate has been increased. So like as you can see, there's a Spino here, there was a Spino over here, there's a Spino over here. Normally there'd be like maybe 1 or 2 spread out in this entire river. But because of how they've changed the spawn rates, you can get like 5 or 6 in a set location just because of how they've been changed and affected. And the same goes for a lot of the other creatures. Things have changed. They've just made some simple effects, nothing like too crazy, but it's good to know the different locations. Oh, like I said, the locations haven't changed, but the spawn rate has. So you won't find a Spino up on the mountain because that's not where they spawn. They spawn in rivers. And you won't find, say, a Giga, which spawn on the mountains, down in the Redwoods. Well, you might find one up on the mountain, but you won't find one, like, in the valleys at all, unless someone has tamed it. And, I mean, yeah, it's just basic figuring stuff out for yourself. So, as I fly up into the sunset, or sunrise, or whatever you want to call it, if you want to just hop in some matches, figure stuff out, that would probably be the best way to kind of learn how to play the game. But thank you all for enjoying or watching through my very ranty explanation of what this all was. This was very messy, but because of how much free time I have, I don't have a ton of time to do like an in-depth explanation and like do a whole bunch of editing and stuff. So all I can really do is what I've just done, is just kind of play a match and explain pretty much what's happening throughout. So I'm going to stop now before this continues to get really bad and ranty, but I plan to be playing this game a lot in the near future, so I'll be posting videos about it. I'll be playing with friends, playing with myself, in solo matches and stuff like that. So I'll be posting a lot more of this in the future. So look forward to that if you think this is very interesting. I really do think it is. I've been playing some solo matches. I've been playing some squad matches. So you might see some different people popping in and out of different videos depending on who I'm playing with on set days. And yeah, so I'm gonna end it here. I hope this was at least somewhat helpful in any way, shape, or form. I know it was really confusing. Maybe in the future, if I have some more time on my hands and I'm not in the middle of like schoolwork, work itself, and like other daily life, then I'll have some more time to actually go through and make an actually good explanation of everything. But like I said, this is just kind of a basic overview of everything, nothing too crazy. So yeah, I'm gonna end it here. I will see you in the next video. Hopefully I can get that out soon, depending on how much free time I have, like I said. And I will talk to you all later. See ya.